Good evening, everybody, and welcome to King Dolphin Television. This is episode 405. I am Raymond. I am the author of the Dolphin Wars trilogy of books and brewer of the greatest, most fantastic pod on YouTube. Welcome to everybody. Tonight, as it's right there, we are going to do Fantastic Four reviews. We will be doing issues 30 and 31 from 44 years of the Fantastic Four, the DVD, the CD set of every issue of the Fantastic Four, from the very beginning till 44 years later. So before we get started, if you love these reviews, if you love my interviews, if you love Radio King Dolphin TV, which is coming soon to a channel near you, and of course, if you love Just Cuz, please like, subscribe, engage, chat, and donate. If you want to keep the lights on at this channel, we will follow what FKHC says. He says, make sure Dr. Raymond Boom doesn't send Snorty and Trike to collect his money, pay in super chats, super stickers, or the tip link here. And Snorty Poopers just graciously do it. Now remember, we've got these two shysters over here. And actually three. I mean, it's number 3 is interchangeable. It's either Colby or Dipsy. So please, you don't want these characters shaking you down, do you? So please, well, actually, maybe you do. So please help keep the lights on at this channel and help us out here. Yeah, you see these three? They loves their money. Snorty, Trike, and the interchangeable Dipsy or Colby. And there's the tip link. And of course, you could do super chat. All right, so let me get started by. I don't know, Phantom Outsider. Hello. It's just the way it happened. Trike does take a lot of room. Trike does take a lot of room. So let me. Yeah, Phantom Outsider says, how is the dog bigger than the bird? Sometimes Snort likes to have a low profile. So let's get started. All right, so here are the shout outs. I shout out everybody. Jess and my team, my lifeguard corps. We have the aforementioned Phantom Outsider. How are you, sir? Who asked about the dog bigger than the bird? We have the lifeguard corps, and I will shout out other people who come on. We have our producer, Sandra. This is King Dolphin TV, color, stereo, where available, HD, if Trike lets you. Then we got the aforementioned dog, Trike. Hey, as Snortapoopa says, hail the Trike. We got FKHC 2005, who came up with that tip joke. And because I did say it. I did say it. Let's do it. All right, so now I'll continue with the rest of my lifeguard corps. We got FKHC 2005. We have the amazing, fantastic Legatus Legionine. We've got Matt G, also known as Sabrina's Espresso. You worry me, Matt. I'm concerned. I am very concerned. Okay. So welcome, Sabrina's Espresso, FKHC. I know it's a free show, but that's a good name for me on that show. Of course. All right. Let's see. And let's see. Sabrina, the Phantom. We did Legatus. And of course, we've got the hardest working bear on the internet. Hardest working bear on the internet, co-founder of the Snortopoopas and Trike Snortopoopas and Trike Collection Agency, and the hardest working bear on the internet, Snortopoopas! Huber! Dot scream. Hashtag roar. Yeah. That's a or Snort would say, it's eating time. And welcome, Snort. All right. Okay, let us get started again. This is from my disc, 44 Years of the Fantastic Four. And this is going to be episode 30 and issues 30 and 31. Also, we got a poem. For once, we got a poem. Well, for this particular show, we've done others. There's two questions. I like this issue the best from tonight's show. It's either issue 31 or issue 30. So please vote. And we'll see how it comes out at the end of the show. All right, so we shall begin. Gotta says a dancer's pole, map, POLL. Right. Okay, issue 30, Fantastic Four. Will the mysterious Diablo finally be the villain who succeeds in breaking up the fabulous Fantastic Four? See bashful Benjamin transformed into a startling, truly different thing. Ooh. So this is the debut of Diablo. Both you and the fabulous Fantastic Four will soon meet the dreaded Diablo. Written by Stan Lee, a rather nice writer, drawn by Jack Kirby, a quite noteworthy artist, inked by Chip Stone, a somewhat nifty inker, lettered by Art Simic, an occasionally neat letter. And before that, take a look at all those fishing outfits. You can get 3 complete fishing outlets and 2 loaded tackle boxes with 41 deadly lures. 411 pieces for $12.95. Wow. All right. So, even on vacation, the FF doesn't know when danger will start. So, they are in Transylvania, where anything is liable to happen, and you can rest assured it will. So Ben is tearing up trees for some reason. Johnny's saying, stay out of the forest. It's the lair of Diablo. Sue is saying, hey, it's going to be dark. And they've been lost. And Reed's saying he thinks the forest is growing up around us, as though it's trying to trap them, to keep them there. So the trees are trying to trap Johnny, who can't use his flames without setting the fire. But then Sue saves the day with her telescope. I mean, not her telescope, her force fields. Ugh. And so Sue is helping Johnny out. And Ben is wondering where Reed is, saying, this is why we get a vacation without a Boy Scout. And then Reed says he's found something. A castle. An abandoned castle. And Johnny says this would scare Dracula. But then outside, a voice comes out. Don't enter. Don't enter the castle of Diablo. Wow, look at those dogs. They look mean. They look about as mean as the hunters. The mayor is Baron Hugo, mayor of the territory, and are honored of having the Fantastic Four, and invites them to stay at their estate. So the Fantastic Four go to the home of the mayor, and he says he's an alchemist whose strange potions menaced all mankind. He's sealed in the castle for 100 years to protect him. And Ben's saying, what do you mean? He's probably dead. But the mayor says he has found the secret of prolonging human life. Reed is saying, let's hope it's not a legend. So they've gone to their separate rooms, and Ben is in the bed, wondering if Alicia misses him. Yeah. And once again, brooding about her missing an ugly creep an ugly person like him. So, and then all of a sudden, there's a voice, a whisper, saying, come to me, come to me. And then hears the calling and heads to it. It sounds like he is in a trance. And he's being led through the forest. And there he is. He sees a door. And he pulls the ring. And it pulls the stopper further out, and he goes in. And there's a hand saying one last task. And it said, and the voice says, "You must shatter the slab holding me prisoner. Do it now." He commands Ben. And Ben clobbers the slab, and then Diablo is out. Meanwhile, the others start looking for Ben. And even though they figure he hated the forest. Reed confirms that Ben smashed the slab, and then Johnny opens up the way, and then they see that Ben has been changed, and they meet Diablo. He said there's no, he would have opened the door, and there we see Ben, or the thing, changed to an almost human version of Benjamin. He introduces himself as Diablo and says this is his assistant, the one used to be called the Thing. And then Ben is saying, "Look at how good looking he made me with the sip of the potion." And then Reed saying, his assistant. And Diablo says in return for the service, he's going to serve Ben for 1 year. And Reed is saying he tried the same mixture, it didn't work. And he used some potion, and it caused the flower to grow. And Reed, or Ben says, "He turned me into a rose." And Reed says, "He's managed to influence you, steal your loyalty, but he won't get away with it." And Ben is attacking Reed. And Diablo reminds them that the Thing is in his debt. There's got to be a catch. There's got to be a catch. And, here's a new ad. "Boys, men, I'll help you master Yubi-Waza." Never heard of it. Never heard of Yubi-Waza. You can get a lesson for $198. Yeah. A martial art that I've never heard of. Okay, let's see what check is up here. Okay. Phantom Outsider says, "Interesting note. Both of tonight's comics were part of the 1966 television cartoon show." Oh, cool. I think I might have remembered that. Okay. Let's continue. Okay, so now Ben has turned against the Fantastic Four. And Reed has been tied up in knots. And Johnny's saying, "You don't know what you're doing." Ben is confirming that he is not hypnotized. Um, and Johnny's saying, you never attacked Reed that way, no matter what. Now let go of it. And that the thing is saying, try that again, I'll splash you all over the landscape. And then he grabs sand and smothers Johnny. And Sue's saying, how could you? We're your friends. We're only trying to help you. And Ben just wants to be left alone. And Ben says, if I serve him faithfully, he'll give me the rest of the potion at the end of the year. That means I can marry Alicia, and no one's going to spoil it for me, not even you. Johnny wants to go after him. Reed says no, not because of his promise. And Sue's just saying, we've lost him. And he's saying, so far, it's the thing that's dealt with them. And Diablo wants them to leave, or else they'll face him. So they start leaving. But then Reed takes one of the beakers. And Reed wants to do some tests. And then Diablo comes out and starts talking about his potions. And everybody's going to see Diablo seeking the miracles. And with the thing right there ready to protect him. And he's saying, I must have your, one sheik is saying, I must have your potions. Cost is no object. Diablo says, soon the world will have my price. And then Diablo has the villagers working for him under the thing, which make more and more of the potions. And they don't want the thing to take him out. Okay, so we sell some potions that aren't all that powerful, and a jet sprayed some potion over the desert, and then it becomes an oasis, a tropical garden. It's a miracle. Diablo has done the impossible, but there's much to fear. What if he turns his strange powers to evil uses? Who could stop him? So the military tries attacking the dome that Diablo is in, and they don't work. And meanwhile, Reed is testing something in a lab. A coincidence. A Baron Hugo has a laboratory capable of letting Reed do some tests. So he brings Sue and Johnny in, and it proves that the formula is fake. It caused the test tube to shatter. It means that nothing can come from any of his potions. They harm things. They could hurt Ben and the world. Hugo comes in. Now Johnny says he hasn't broken any laws, and Sue says he's the richest man on earth. So Hugo comes in. He is dangerous. That's why they sealed him, and he's unbelievably evil. And we're thoroughly evil, unbelievably powerful. So now he's hiring an army with the Thing to lead him, and the world could be conquered. And unfortunately, unless he breaks the law, nothing the Fantastic Four can do. The Thing comes in to a special chamber, sees the generals being paid by Diablo. And Diablo says, sees Grim and says, "How dare you?" And then he says he was startled, and then Ben doesn't feel too good. And he's going to give him a potion. And then all of a sudden he changes back and agrees that Reed was right all the time. Ben starts going after him. And he thinks he's going to use his potions to protect him from the Thing. And the one potion he uses knock out the Thing. And then newspapers go out saying Diablo is a fake. Diablo's wonder chemicals fail. Diablo youth elixir proven worthless. Fertile desert returns to sand. And the UN has said that his aim is world conquest. His potions will never be used to aid mankind, but destroy it. And now Johnny says, "Can we go?" And Ben says, or Reed says, "Yeah." And the next ad, a new ad. Play 1964 big league baseball games using Stratomatic. God, that game's been around forever. I have Stratomatic football from 80 something. All right, let's see what the checks say. Okay. Lorna Poopa says, Yubiwaza is an Aikido finger lock technique. Oh, okay. I've heard of Aikido. I know someone who's doing it. And the Phantom Outsider says, better living through chemistry. Maybe. All right. And back we go. So Reed says the UN has to wait until the votes are in and then submit the plans. And Reed says, "Oh, we can go now. Let's do it." So Johnny flames on and flies to the castle. And the mercenaries see him and start firing missiles at the torch. And Johnny tries to avoid them, and they're heat seekers. And they're following him, so he hopes that they can reach him, and he burns through the peak, and they explode on the mountain, and he's protected. And then he's going to use a stun shower Sue is invisible and leaps and knocks one of the troops out. She says, "Sorry to get you in trouble with your boss, soldier. No one's spraying my kid, brother, if the invisible girl can help it." And then the spray hits the artillery man, knocked out by the stun shower. Diablo now says he can defeat the whole world alone if he can. Sue is aiming the nozzle at him, and just about ready to, just before she shoots, he uses a pellet that destroys the hose, actually rots it out. So now, unfortunately, Sue just yelled or said, "Oh," and so Diablo starts heading toward the invisible girl, and she turns him invisible. And editor's note: one of Sue Storm's fantastic powers is the ability to make another being invisible while she regains invisibility. So they start the reinforcements start coming in and nearly trample Diablo. And the next ad, you can get grit as usual, and you can get an authentic shark tube for $1.75. These giant raiders of the deep with their flashing teeth and sleek bodies give us these collector items on its sturdy chains. Get your shark tube. At what Tantamount Cider says at one point Diablo claimed to have an invisibility formula, but one day someone saw a polar bear go into his lab, and the polar bear and the formula were never seen again, but you wouldn't know anything about that, right, Snort? I think there's going to be a Snuffles on that one. He's going to snuffle. Okay. Okay, Johnny is tossing fireballs, and Diablo is escaping. And the troops are running. Sue becomes visible and reveals herself to Johnny. They go down into the dungeons looking for Reed. And Reed oozes down from a crack in the ceiling. I love this. How condescending was Reed in those days? Hi, little partners. I hope I didn't startle you. I've got good news. I've located Ben. So Reed leads them to the dungeon, and there's Ben turned back to the thing. And Reed says, "Didn't notice anything?" "Yeah, he's turned back to the thing." And Johnny says, "I've gotten so used to him right now that the big look looks almost looks handsome to me." Johnny tries to burn through the glass, and no way. Reed says he may not well be unless they could free him. And Johnny starts increasing. So Sue says, "Do you think that?" And Reed says, "Hold it. Don't talk. Don't disturb Johnny. He's got to figure the flame exactly so it doesn't touch Ben in case the capsule is shot. The glass cage doesn't give up. It's too strong, and Johnny can't go any hotter, or it could hurt. It could kill Ben." And now Diablo comes back. And he's already threatening to destroy the Fantastic Four. So he tosses a pellet. And what happens is Sue uses her force field. And Johnny and Reed go after him. And it zaps. He uses a special chemical and knocks out Reed and Johnny. And then Sue drops her force field and then is zapped by the same gas. So now all four are in these escape-proof chambers, and he's going to reveal his master plan. Alchemy, ancient art, transforming something common into something precious. The art I alone have mastered. By use of my mystic chemicals, I can do anything. I can change lead into gold, giving me all the wealth I ever need. I can change any substance into any other substance. That's why I was sealed within the castle years ago, because they knew Diablo was the most dangerous man alive. You know, when they start talking in third person, you know they're megalomaniacs. So the only thing is he can only his things are temporary, but he will find a way. But then the theme there, and the thing awakens, but then he needs air, and the capsule doesn't have air. But he's thinking that he can't survive in there, and he can't break through the capsule. But he has not reckoned with the Thing, who just broke out of it. And they're going to use he's going to use another pellet, but then the Thing stomps and knocks Diablo against the wall. And he tries to use a stone to block the Thing, and he starts bashing the walls. And then continues to chase Diablo. So the Thing uses a big chunk of rock to block his way. All right. Boy, they're coming out with new ads. All right. 60 seconds a day with a scientifically developed isometric exerciser will put you in tip-top physical shape. 30-day guarantee. $4.95. And you can get 100 magnets for for $1. And you can do anything with the magnets. 3 sets for $2.50. So a 50-cent discount. And then you get coins. Curious coins. Paper money. So you can start collecting your own money. Hey, there's a $100,000 Confederate bill. There you go, snort. $100,000 Confederate bill. Let's see. Two more triumphs for Marvel. The year's greatest collector's item issue. We get Spider-Man, Hulk, Giant Man, Iron Man, Sergeant Fury, and Thor. And Spider-Man takes on the Sinister Six. Vulture, Electro, Sandman, Doc Ock, and Kraven. And then stamps, model rockets, baseball equipment, other things. Jet engine burns gas. And then Ben starts giving him a demonstration. He turns an armor that weighs about a ton into a basketball. He says, "The hunk of tin underwear is beginning to strain my delicate handings." So he puts it together and throws it at the owl. And it bounces. And it bounces and nearly takes him out. He goes to the crypt. He goes to the one place where he's known safety and security for long decades, and Ben uses the slab and imprisons him. And he slams the slab, and the castle falls down. And then the cylinders shatter. The others regain consciousness, and they escape. And they see Bashful Ben. He's holding on to the entrance so that they can escape. He says, Reed says, "We might have known you'd fit into this somehow. As soon as we're past you, drop everything, follow us." And they escape. And they think he'll never get out of it. And Johnny just makes sure by fusing the stones together. Reed saying, "Sorry, we couldn't have saved him and studied him. There's so much we could have learned. And so many secrets lost." And Ben says he can keep them. Ben says he apologizes to everybody, and Reed says, "Nah, you're with us again." And then they realize that they're lost again. But they were found by Baron Hugo and were sent on their way. So that is the end of issue number 30, their first confrontation with Diablo. Let's see here. I'm going to read one of the letters. "Dear Stan and Jack, I owe you guys an apology. At first I thought books like yours were impossible. I still think other books with superheroes are. But when I first bought a Marvel, I changed my mind completely. I don't think hardly anyone writes comics like you." And they say, "They better not, Jimmy, or we'll sue." Dear Stan and Jack, I must send my thanks and congratulations for many super stories. You guys make me feel like I know you personally when I read the fan pages. When I read the stories, I feel like I'm right there with the characters. I don't know exactly how to say it, but I feel like all the comic characters are my personal friends. For someone who, and they say, this is Bruce Hall, and someone says, for someone who doesn't know how to say it, you said it just fine, Al. Thanks. And there's the Mike Marvel with the secret new Dynaflex method. You could be as strong as Snorapoopas with this method. Are you tired of your paycheck? You could be if you mastered automaton mechanics, a well-paid trade. You can get all sorts of tools like mechanics tools, socket set and tray, vacuum gauge and fuel pump, starter current, a torque wrench, a couple of testing equipments, a battery cell tester, and a power timer. All of those are now antiques. Let's see. You can get a wrist radio long before the Apple Watch. You can pretend your TV screen is broken. You can hypnotize. A midget Annie machine. And Snortapoopus' favorite, X-ray specs. Worms, thick black soap, a buzzer, a joke book, fake vomit, cool stuff. And if you know just 20 people, you can make $50, more likely 100 to 2 in your favorite spare time by selling Christmas presents. All right. So, let's go back and see what the chat's saying. All right. A snuffle or an emulsant or both. Snort says both. Oh, okay. Got the hip and knee shot last week. Went almost 3.5 months, so longer than the usual 3, which is good. Put a PO out there to show them we're thinking about it. Okay. Welcome back, FKHC. They contacted me. Now they need still more forms, so we need 3 doctor notes. Go to my GP, blah, blah, and plus side. I only see them 1 time a year for a checkup or if they need a note. All right. I'll go breakdown. Then he wants to see you before he gives a note. Balcony wax. It's the government's way to try and get you to give up and go away. Ah, Snort says, that's almost real money. Song ideas. I got one. A song about a lady named Eleanor Rigby. From the ad from the page before. All right. Phantom Outsider says Diablo is not as good as a solo threat. He's better once he gets together with Dragon Man and even later FF-194 with Darkhawk, the Death Demon. But really just an old friend of the thing that Diablo altered. But the Death Demon was kind of cool. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Tim. Dear Stan and Jack sounds like an early version of Penthouse 4. Ah. P.O. That's how Marvel started Dear Jack and Stan, you won't believe what happened to me. I and three friends headed into space in an experimental rocket, and dear Stan and Jack, I went to an atomic science fair, and you might not believe this, but you're most welcome, Phantom. That's what we do here. All right, it's time for issue 31, the return of the first villain the Fantastic Four ever faced. Fantastic Four, issue number 31. I like the little picture up on the top left corner of the foreground. That's pretty cool. All right. Never mind how great this story is. Just take a look of our swinging title, The Mad Menace of the Macabre Mole Man. And we got a real surprise for you. Somewhere in this thriller, you'll meet a character, very briefly, whose identity, once you learn it, will come as a real shock to you. Ready? Okay, see if we're right. And the Mole Man, without doubt, one of the strangest supervillains of all time. So you got to hold the Fantastic Four in. Sue's down there with the Moloids, ready to go. The fabulous Fantastic Four fight to the death against the Mad Menace of the Macabre Mole Man. See, the frantic FF as they dare to defy the mighty adventures. See, the incredible spectacle of the vanished streets. See, the mysterious stranger in the life of Sue Storm. And I'll bet you it's probably a pointed-eared fishman. Okay. Written by Stan Lee, the man with the talented typewriter. Illustrated by Jack Kirby, the man with the power pencil. Inked by Chick Stone, the man with the panoramic paintbrush. And lettered by S. Rosen, the man with the leaky lettering. So, it starts out as usual. The FFR in a crisis, an earthquake. Fans all over the place. Reed's saying that, or Johnny's saying there's no earthquake in New York, and Sue's saying the whole city is being rocked. And Reed's saying don't panic, as he only gets clobbered by a lamp. So the living room is trashed. Reed's protecting Sue, saying under the rubble or stay under the debris, wanting torch to burn through the objects, and Reed's just moving all over the place. And they're all trying to get undiscombobulated. They're looking for Ben. And next thing you know, Crump. And he's caught in a shower. So Ben is trapped in the shower, trying to escape. And Johnny says, if you use the brains you were born with, you've just reached up and turned off the faucet. And Ben says, you trying to hint that I'm dumb? Who's hinting? I accept your apology. and they see that the crowd is kind of curious as to what's going on. And Reed has an idea, but wants to wait till they're certain. And they're heading to the fantastic car, but Sue sees a picture in the paper and sees a picture of a prisoner, someone who just escaped from the prison that Sue recognizes. Reed wonders who it is. Sue says she's not going to talk about it and tells Reed and the others to go on. She's got to think. Reed is not sure who it is. And Reed says, "Can there be someone else from the past? Someone she loves more than me?" Well, no, I can't even think about it. And Sue reads the paper and realizes that it's true. And they see a big hole. They see a big hole and a city block missing. And Reed tries to stretch down, and it seems to be bottomless. He can't stretch far enough, and so Johnny goes down. And he keeps going and going, and then runs into ice, but he melts it. So he keeps melting the ice, but it keeps melting faster. So he heads back up. And Reed has figured out who it is. And now it's revealed. Because he knows it was a matter of time before they would pick up the trail. And there is Molly, the Mole Man. He says the Mole Man's going to triumph, and he just needs a hostage, and he's found her. And let me guess. So she's crossing the street, going to police, and the potential hostage, and then Mole Man works to bring down the city block. All right. So, in the Spider-Man versus Torch and the Green Goblin. In Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos, they go to Okinawa. The X-Men tackle the Blob and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And the Avengers take on Kane. And there's Mr. Ubiwaza. Yoshi Imonami, pretty Japanese wife of NJ Flame. Ubiwaza, nasty. I only weigh 98 pounds, yet I can paralyze a 200-pound attacker with just a finger, because I know Ubiwaza. And let's see what the chat's going to say. Hello, Agent Pepsi One. Agent Pepsi One. They've given her a number and taken away from me. All right, so. Okay. Let's see. Phantom Outsider says, second villain. Kingdom, second villain. First villain was the lowest bidder that got the rocket contract and never went, maybe those shields need beefing up. What's amazing is Manhattan Island is solid bedrock, yet they have an earthquake and decide to investigate. Nothing to see here. And again, hello, Agent Pepsi 1. Good to see you, ma'am. Shouldn't the thing just get sponged off or dusted? Because with all those gaps, he must have a hard time getting dry. Not sure. Oh, more fake news. Yeah. No. He ain't going anywhere. Chuck Norris is. You see all those fake newses. There's one that said Robert Redford died, and the only place I saw it was in Wikipedia. Does anybody check Fox or something like that? Phantom Outsider says, as a kid, I always felt sorry for the little Mongoloids as they were not bright and had nothing to gain fighting the FF. All they got was hurt. Yeah, that's what it says. More jokes and memes about him. Yes, and we will keep showing the memes. Sure you can. Can I show a funny link with you all here? Saw this and couldn't stop laughing. I needed a diversion today. Sure, go ahead. News ticker on Yahoo. What about Robert Redford? Anybody? As long as I can. Oh, he did die. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I can't keep it on. Long, but it looks pretty cool. And Robert Redford did die. Well, Fox sure was behind the eight ball. I would get a copyright, so let me do it afterwards. Remind me, and it's only going to be a quick snippet. Agent Pepsi 1, remind me. Okay, that is back to the story. That's what happens when you hang out with the Hydra. Okay, let's go back. All right, so they go back to the headquarters to plan. And Reed says it wasn't natural. And there's a note from Sue, and then the earthquake. And Johnny's looking at the radio, and Ben thinks it's Hulk, but Reed says no. Sue says she's going to police headquarters looking for police headquarters, trying to see about the newspaper item. And another city block is missing, and it just happens to be the police headquarters. And the block comes out, and people leave the city block being held hostage by the Mongoloids. And the mole man catches Sue. Sue turns invisible, but to no avail with the Mongoloids. and and now she's trapped. And Mole Man is doing the Mole Man is doing the kidnap Sue Stormtroop. But this time the result will be different. I hold a trump card. And Sue says, "You're mad, no matter how powerful, no matter how many subterranean subjects, you can't defeat all of mankind." And now he mentions that he has Sue as a hostage. "By holding you hostage, the soft-hearted Fantastic Four will not dare to attack me. As you know, they are the ones I fear the most." And Sue says they're not going to sacrifice just to save her. And then he reveals that he has Sue. And he's daring the trio to come after. They go to their pogo plane and start going down. And Johnny says, "You must know any harm comes to Sue, he'll seal his own doom." The voice of a protective boyfriend. And their steel tentacles start emerging to attack the pogo plane. Johnny comes out and starts using his fire. Ben doesn't like the battle cry. And Reed says, "Benjamin, old friend, he could recite Mother Goose for as long as all I care, as long as he gets the results." He destroys the claws and orders one of the Moloids to launch missiles. And there go the missiles. The missiles are turning into spores, and they're consuming the oxygen, causing this flame to go off, but Reed catches him. And then the two are knocked out, but Ben starts seeing the ship spin, and he uses his they're caught in an air tunnel, and he uses his abilities to fly the airplane, and he takes them into a calm area. All right, let's check out the next. All right. Hello, Fez. She says, "I thought all could use a laugh." In the comics, those Hydra leaders, they die all the time, but then they come back in the real world. That does not happen, though. Hello, Fez. He says, "Could someone mail me a new spine? I'm out of whack again." Put an F4E out there for Fez, our very own Fez. And Snort says, "All I have is a walrus spine left over from my last meal. Hey, if someone could transplant it." Tale of culinary wonders, mummies, and other miracles. says at this point, that'll work. And hello, Fez. Slightly used walrus spine. Yeah, F4E was Dad's plane. All right. Okay, and please fill out the poll. Okay, let's see. Now it's 80-20. All right. With 5 votes, and I know there's 3 out there, so please vote. Okay. Continuing on. All right. So they've escaped the first trap and end up at one of the city blocks. And the jet brakes aren't working, so of course the thing stops it in its own imitable way. And not much left of the pogo plane. And he says, I guess the trouble with me is I'm too modest. Just like all world famous heroes, I don't talk myself up enough. And they start reviving. And Reed's saying he's in the Mole Man's empire. He knows they're there, but they gotta find Sue. He's saying make no sudden menacing moves. So Reed agrees, and they keep on listening. Does the Mole Man realize that she can use her force field to protect herself? He's not very bright. So they lower himself. And they're not going to jeopardize Sue, so he's checking to see what they're looking for. And they're saying they're going to keep Sue captive, so the Fantastic Four has to obey. They have no choice. And he's saying they're not the only ones to oppose, but Mole Man says you'll prevent others from defying. Sue's got to have something up her sleeve. Either that or she's so distraught from that fugitive in the paper. And Reed has got some idea or something. So they want to rush her. Reed says hold off. Sue's saying attack him. So he uses some sort of air pressure to launch the 3 of them back into the surface. And Johnny asks, why didn't she use the force field? And Reed says possibly he could have overcome it. So now the Avengers start talking to the Fantastic Four. And Reed And Reed tries to stop the Avengers, but they start going down to the tube. Now, Bear says I was. Isn't that interesting? Baseball, 1964. Yes, Stratomatic baseball. Agent Pepsi 1 had a flight simulator game, one she can never win. He beat the game while eating a burger. Okay, we'll see you in a bit. A man after her fez his own heart. Drive an 81 while smoking, drinking Diet Coke, eating a burger and chicken nuggets, and still being able to sing along with that one octave. Huh. I want the whole genuine shark with lasers on the head and a swimming pool. Cool. All right. So now we continue. And Reed wraps Thor with an arm, and Reed is saying, "Don't stop the hammer and tell him and talk to him." And Johnny uses heat against the suit, and he's saying jokes don't amuse him. And Cap doesn't talk this way. Ben tells Cap to stay away as he's tackling Giant Man, and Cap says, "It's lucky for you that we all fight the same fight. Otherwise, I'd be mighty tempted to make you regret your insolence." Cap doesn't talk like that. That's crazy. So the Fantastic Four tell the Avengers that Sue's his prisoner, and he doesn't want to endanger her. Thor gives them 24 hours to figure something out. And Iron Man gave Reed some transistors. And Reed starts working on a detector. And then he activates a computer that's in conjunction with the detector. And he's going to start searching for Sue. And Sue is over there trapped in a crystal cage, feeling sorry for herself because no one realizes the Mole Man is powerful except for the FM. I think she's too distraught to realize Reed is not going to give up. And he found it. All right, so he uses his Nova Flame, and they get on a hover cycle that the Army had that Reed modified, and they go down. And the Mole Man sees the Fantastic Four and starts launching his army. And of course, the army is going, but the torches reach Sue. And Sue starts she starts using her force field, knocking out everybody. And Johnny sees his control room, and he uses something called a Zeta ray. And Johnny is avoiding said Zeta rays, whatever Zeta rays are. And Sue's saying his flame is not going to last forever, but then here come the other two. And of course, it's clobbering time. As he pounds them. And they find the machine and they start working on it. And Sue asks why Reed is trouble, and he just mentions the picture in the paper. And there's the exerciser and the coins. All right. Okay, we saw this. Oh, what's this? Oh, annual number 2. Yeah, we did Dr. G. We did Dr. Jones annual. Okay. Let's check the chat. Check the chat. Snort says, tell him to keep his eyes on the skies. Oh, what's this? Breaking news. Wait. We got breaking news? Here we go. Let's see. Stephen is stuck in Cleveland. It seems that one of the 2 pilots he was supposed to fly with to Amsterdam was detained at the airport. Uh-oh. Detained in Amsterdam? Sounds suspicious. You're right, Snort. Detained in Cleveland sounds even worse. Oh, that's even worse. FedEx put him up on a hotel overnight now as they can't get another crew out there until tomorrow, and he would time out. Oh, that dreaded crew time. Snort, Hoopers, Cuba, in Cleveland. That doesn't sound good. Better safe than sorry. And Snort snuffles. He says he doesn't know what happened, but he and the other pilot came from Memphis with a stop in Cleveland, and then were supposed to fly to Amsterdam. Sandra says, I wonder if it was drugs or alcohol. Seems to have been an uptick in pilots reporting for duty drunk. Uh-oh. Pilot that was supposed to join him in Cleveland was detained, so the flight is delayed until tomorrow morning. We'll know more later on the way to the hotel. Yep. I agree, Sandra. Cleveland's not fun. I hope they get more crew to help out soon. since it's time out, smart to get some sleep and get up fresh. A sudden end to one's career. Yeah. Okay. Snort says, took his refueling too personally. Or maybe that pilot started embracing the Amsterdam culture a bit too early. Yeah, I got a story about that. We did a tour when I was in the Air Force. We took a tour to Amsterdam, and we were coming back from back to Germany from Amsterdam, and the bus driver told the tour person, "Oh, we're going to be we may be delayed at the border because of a drug check," and the lady just panicked. Of course, all us smart-ass military people were all snickering. A lot of times they'll be given a chance to call off sick. No one's the wiser, but if they insist of entering the aircraft with the intention of flying, there's no choice. Hope all is covered. Room, food, his time. Oh, yeah, they cover that stuff. Said that this dispatch couldn't get anyone before he and his coworker would time out. Oh, I've had that happen to me too. Nifty model rocket there with a glove to catch it. Yeah, you like that? You like that, Agent Pepsi one? Yeah, they cover it. Yeah, they do. Yeah, time out in a hotel room better than sitting in the airport. Yeah, with passengers waiting to go in. With passengers waiting to get into the airplane. Yeah, timing out sucks. Why does breaking news get serious professional music and breaking wind gets you in trouble? Timing out is you have a specific crew day. You have an amount of hours you can for your duty day, and if something happens and you end up going past your duty hours, you can't fly. Since it wasn't, yeah, he still gets paid. Okay. Yep, that's true. There's a duty day limit for pilots. And it is a hard stop, yes. Yep. Base pay and then only paid from the time the airplane store is closed. That is true, Legatus. Okay. All right. Let me continue. Aw, I still need him around for a long time. Aw, that's so sweet, Agent. That's good. Okay. All right, let's continue. All right. So they start reversing and start heading back up to the surface. They haven't found the mole man, and Johnny's been playing with the zeta rays, and he used his heat blast to set up a chain reaction, and it starts blowing up. Reed protects Ben and Sue with his body, and they start going up. And Reed says, "Why don't we settle?" Reed says, well, Johnny asks, "Why don't they settle?" And Reed says, "I'll explain." And then it explodes. And Johnny seals the hospital. Sue was hurt, and they head to the hospital. And Sue has got a severe injury. No one is able to handle the operation. Reed is wondering who can save her. They did find a man who could do the operation, but he stopped practicing medicine. And Reed is so worried about Sue, and then he wants the doctor's name so they can find him, but they said he was escaped from prison. And then he shows up, and Johnny recognizes him. Reed sees the picture in the paper, and then he is Johnny and Sue's father. So he didn't want to hurt them, so he pretended that he was dead. And since now that he heard the bulletin about Sue, he came back, and then they will prep him for surgery. Reed realized that that's her father. That's their father. So Ben's confused, but they must have confidence in his ability to save Sue. Reed said, "You and Sue never mentioned your parents. I always assumed you were orphans. Dad had been one of the greatest scientists, but then something happened. I can't get myself to talk about it now." And now they're waiting on Sue to come back. And she comes out. She's pale, and then he saved Sue. Ben is happy. Johnny and Reed are happy, but then here comes the police. They knew he would go there, but all he's asking is to see Sue. And Reed is saying he'll take responsibility, and they both go. A strange ending for a Fantastic Four tale, perhaps, but then life is full of strange, unexpected events. And then there'll be the next issue. So that is the end of issue number 31, where we see Johnny and Sue's father for the first time. All right. Okay. So, on the polls, where do we stand? We stand 80% like issue number 30 with Diablo, and 20% like 20% like issue 31 with the Mole Man and the revelation that Sue's father, Sue and Johnny's father. All right. So let's continue the breaking news. Let's see. You can make the homecoming worth the wait too. I can try. Text from him. They're going to take a 5. They're going to take a flight in the morning, going to New Hampshire, and then off Amsterdam with another pilot coming in. Good show. Good show. I guess he better be at the airport for 0400 or so. I could not sleep on such a foul schedule. Yeah. Amsterdam, start the James Bond music. Wrong foul, yeah. Notice how in the comic, much like the movie, Sue creates a peace accord between the mole man and the surface world. Not so much here. Okay. John, you have a one-track mind. You and Snort, Peking chicken fried duck. Amsterdam, 7 ahead of you. Yep, that's indeed true. All right, so that is the episode, and we're going to end the poll. The final poll is 80% liked Diablo, 20% liked that issue 31 and the moment. Okay. With him getting up so early, it's going to make an instant check-in with you. He may have fallen asleep while talking. All right. So now that we've done these two, let's get to show notes.
It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. Yeah, with Mr. Reagan and Sandra too. It's time for show notes. We're bringing it on. It's time for show notes. You've all been warned. It's time for show notes.
All right, we got some programming notes here. Actually, I've got to make a change. Let's see. No, I can't do it. Okay. All right. So, a week from tomorrow, Agent Pepsi 1, we're going to have the next radio King Dolphin TV. It's going to be the next chapter of All's Fair, a Dolphin Wars novel. The next part is called Bridges. From All's Fair, a Dolphin Wars novel. Bridges, with the not ready for pod time players, Anti-Derivative Jill, Agent Pepsi 1, Max Redstone, and yours truly. That will be next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central. No, not 6 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm tired too. So 6 p.m. Eastern will be the next reading next week. This week will be, hopefully, Bridges over the Martian Plains, Mount Olympus. Yep. Hopefully, I will not die coughing. Take lots of NyQuil or do some proactive stuff. And hello, Max Redstone. How you doing? All right. Um, Hello, Max Redstone. Okay. This Saturday is just cause normal. Um, hope I'm ready to step my game up where it comes to ice cream sandwiches. I have I have different varieties of sandwiches. I'm gonna give Wendy a run for the money. You ought to try it too, Ancient Pepsi One. Get some ice cream sandwiches and join in on our competition. On the 27th, we will not have Just Cuz. I will be uh, Sandra and I will be on an away mission. We will have the Sunday show on September 28th. Um, Programming notes because of Yom Kippur. I did. I did. Please confirm, guys, that I do have them. That I did send them. On the 30th, I've got an initial plan to do a show on Tuesday, but I may have something else to do. I've got to figure out um, uh, I've got to figure out whether I can do Tuesday or Thursday, but I really think I'm going to have to stick with Thursday. Or we could do Friday. We could do Friday, and we'll cut in time for frolics. I'll talk it over with my producer. But we've still got about another week. So usually when King Dolphin can't do his usual Saturday, Snort and Trike will do the usual hijinks. Oh, wouldn't okay, so you do have it. Okay, so that is show notes. That is show notes. Oh. Ah. Well, we'll figure something out. I've got a week to decide. All right, but that's show notes. Let's see. Let us thank everybody who's been here. First off, we'll go with the guests. Okay. Oh, okay, this week. No, we're talking next week. I'm thinking we could probably do the usual wave making on Friday, but I gotta discuss it with Sandra. All right. We had Phantom Outsider, and we had Sabrina's Espresso, and now from the Lifeguard Corps, our producer Sandra, the dog Trike, Fez Forever. Hope you feel better. Please put a Fez out there to show that we are thinking of Fez and hope that he gets better. Put heat on your back and take some Advil. Agent Pepsi One is here. Agent Pepsi One. Agent Pepsi One. They've given her a number and taken away her name. We had FKHC 2005. We had Legatus Legionine. We had Maximum Redstone. And last but certainly, yes, we know you're here. You're Fez. Fez Forever is here. And lastly, but not leastly, because he will let you know and probably devour you on the way. Probably devour you in the process. Slaughter Poopas! Cuber. Dot Scream. Hashtag RAR. With the King Dolphin in the background. All right. Okay. Tell Raymond, I say you do. Okay. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this evening. We'll see you on Saturday for Just Cause. And I want you guys to stay safe and stay happy. And we will see you on Saturday. Love you guys. You take care. And let's keep making some waves. And don't forget, do a pod raid at Pop Culture right now. Good night, all.